So Bitcoin is crashing. What to do now? What is going on? So I'm just gonna start off by saying this. I am not a Bitcoin expert. I have called everything that has happened with Bitcoin in the past 6 months purely because of technical analysis. I am a purely technical analysis trader. I'm not a Bitcoin expert. I'm not a Forex expert. I guess you can say I'm a Forex expert just because I'm full time. But like I have called everything on Bitcoin based off of market structure and what the charts are showing. Bitcoin right now is actually at 22,000. Tomorrow, by the time I upload this, it could be at 10,000. A week from now, when you see this, it'll be at 30,000. I don't know where it's going to be at, but what I'm going to be showing you guys in the charts is exactly how I predicted how price is going to get here, where I personally think it's going to go, and how long I think it's going to personally take to go back into the highs, right? So again, I am not a financial advisor. I am strictly, purely a market structure trader, and I purely trade based off of market analysis. That doesn't mean that, I don't obviously know the fundamentals and all that stuff when it comes to the Bitcoin, but I mainly focus on the charts. Everything that I have predicted up to now has been based off of what I see on the charts. Just completely erase the fact that they're printing too much money or they're stealing X amount from certain blockchains. Forget about that. I literally have done everything based off of the charts. So before I get into the charts, I want, for those of you guys, if you guys are in the red right now, I'm gonna pop up a screenshot right here of a token or like an altcoin that I invested in that I'm literally 90%, 96% in drawdown. Like it does not get worse than this. Might as well just forget my password and just call the money lost. If you're in the red right now, just set and forget. Don't panic sell, because once people are in panic, that's when you want to be greedy and you want to get into the market. Once people are being greedy and just too much setting and forgetting, that's when you want to be fearful and just let them do their thing. That's kind of what happened when prices were going up to like 60K. Everybody and their mother knew about Bitcoin. Everybody was buying. Now everybody's panic selling. Literally today, I was talking to one of my buddies, and he's a watch dealer. He's like, bro, in the previous months, I usually get anywhere around 7 to 10 calls to sell watches. This week alone, I've gotten 30, 40 calls because people are just, in panic. They're scared. They want to recuperate from their losses. So if you're in the red right now, set and forget. If you're not in the red, lucky you. I wish I was you. I wouldn't be 96% in drawdown. I would be buying right now. Probably not right now, not just yet. Based on what you guys see on the charts, you guys kind of have an idea of where I personally am going to be more interested in going in. I myself am in the red big time. I don't plan to sell anytime soon. I do believe crypto on the long run will rise, but for now, this is kind of are my prediction. So don't panic sell. If you're in the red, don't get out just yet. If you're looking to buy, don't buy just yet. Get in at the right point. Get in at the right structure point. Like you're already in at a beautiful spot, whether you're getting into Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins. Like you're at a point where even if price goes up to the previous highs, you're gonna minimum 1-2x your money. This is something that's never been unheard of. But when we get into the charts, I'm gonna show you guys exactly what would be the proper approach, and I'm just gonna show you guys how I do everything based off of what I see to the left. It's very easy. Once you understand, market analysis and market structure, everything is right in front of your face. So let's get into the chart so I show you guys exactly how I predicted this whole entire drop and how I personally think. Again, I'm not a crypto expert, but I am a full-time Forex trader. So the same market, my same strategy applies to any market in my opinion. Anything that has technical analysis, I believe that I can trade, and I have statistically proven it. So I generally think that I could predict the future of this. So let's get into the charts. All right, guys. So now that we're here in the charts, I'm going to show you guys, before I show you guys a drop, I'm going to show you guys how easily I predicted the bull trend, right? So let me show you guys how I predicted this bullish push right here. I'm going to be completely blunt and honest. I did not predict this to go up this high ever in my life. I predicted for it to come up to this structure point because I base my take profit of what I see to the left. So if you notice here, there's nothing else to the left. So once we would have, let's say price would have done something like this. Once it was at a point like this, I identified this point right here as a form of take profit. I can't put this point over here because there's absolutely nothing. Like I'm basing this because last time price came into 19,000, it rejected. I can't put 32,000 because it's never been there. I don't know how it's going to react. So I place realistic take profits. I'm going to be honest. Everything that I do is from what I see. I can't be one of these wannabe gurus that say, oh, it's going to hit 25 when nothing has ever happened at 25, right? I know some people have take profits of, maybe 100,000, which is realistic, but there's nothing showing you technical wise that it's gonna hit 100. Everything I'm going to show you is technical wise why I think it's gonna hit X amount of points, right? So while we were in 2020, is kind of when I was interested in Bitcoin. I had some of it, not much, just a couple thousand, nothing that crazy. But I did sadly take off all of my positions here because this is where my take profit was. As you can tell here, market structure at one point was creating lower lows. And then as you can tell, we then have a higher high breaking out of this ascending triangle. For my Forex guys, I don't really use ascending triangles, but you can't help to notice, for bigger moves like this, kind of like Bitcoin, you could kind of, throw these ascending triangles because you see how price could basically bounce within this in here, right? So you can obviously see that this move right here, as you can tell, we not only broke out of the triangle, but most importantly, we broke out of the market structure. As you can see, this is a point that has been used as resistance, and I'm sure if I drag it out to the left, it's used as resistance and support in the past. As you can see here, the daily time frame has gone bullish by breaking out of this zone, coming back, retesting the same exact zone as support. Then you have a bullish engulfing rejection candle, and then basically the next point where you can set a take profit would be at this point right here. Why? Because it's the next point where price rejected, and then obviously here. Notice it's not a coincidence that the last time price came into this point right here, it rejected. Notice how we kind of get into the zone of the previous structure level. It was kind of slowing down. Notice how the momentum to that point is purely bullish candles. As soon as we get close to the resistance, what do we get? Some bearish candles, obviously to have a little bit retracements on the lower time frames, but we obviously ended up breaking through that. So that's just kind of wanted to show you guys a little bit of that, show you guys how simple that is. Where are we now? So right now we are at a lower low, big time lower low. As you can tell, we have beautiful bullish structure. We all know this is where everybody and their mother knew about Bitcoin. And now this is where we went bearish, and now we have a lower low. This is where I personally myself predicted Bitcoin was going to go to the downside. For me, it was a very clear indication because as you can tell on the weekly time frame, you have a higher high, higher low, higher high, the highest high that has been. So meaning if we break under this structure point right here, we are now bearish on the weekly time frame. So as you can see, we come down, we break under this level, meaning now we have a lower low on the weekly time frame. This is where I would wait for then a retracement to then come back and retest previous structure level, retest the weekly EMA, and then also if you could potentially see it, a lot of you guys might not be able to see it, you're going to kind of see the retest of the neckline of the head and shoulders along with EMA and structure, right? So you got like 3-4 things telling you this is heading to the downside, right? Obviously we kind of had this little mess around here, then we did above a new higher high, but as soon as we broke under this lower low structure, I knew we were going to come all the way to 30,000. As you can tell, 30,000 is a respected support. Everything that I'm going to point out is literally what the market is showing me, right? Once we have identified the market support structure, I find round psychological levels. Let me actually round it off because this kind of gives me anxiety. Let me delete 0.0. So we have round psychological 30,000. So I said in my free Telegram, which the link is in the link below, I'm like, as long as we remain above 30,000 and this structure point, we are bullish, or we can have the potential to be bullish, right? What happened? We then body close under the zone and under the structure. This is a very simple concept when it comes to trading. It's break and retest to head up. Break, retest. When you're going down, it's the same break, retest. We're coming back and we're retesting this structure level, the same level that was used as support, which would basically be this level right here. As you notice, it can be this exact same point right here, is then used as support again. As you can see, it is used as support right here. And as you can tell, it is used as support right here. So as you notice, I'm pointing out all of these points just obviously on this line chart that I made. Once we break under, which would be this break right here, we then wait for the retest, which is this retest right here. And then what do you expect? The next lower low. So easy. This to me was probably one of the easiest trades I could have caught in my career. I just personally don't trade Bitcoin just because for me, it's just too volatile. I just rather not trade it, but I could, predict the technical analysis. So once we had the retest, I think on the dailies where it looks the cleanest. Yeah, just look how beautiful this looks on the daily time frame. Like if this isn't like a screaming sell, I don't know what is, but you have the lower low, then you have the beautiful daily double top rejection from around psychological 30,000. You go down to the 4 hour.
You have the whole entire 4-hour shift. I could get into geek mode and get into detail where we then have here the break of the structure on the 4-hour. This would have been our entry signal. We go down to the 1 hour. We then have the retest of the support resistance. We have our bearish engulfing and so on, right? That's all cool. But you guys want to understand what can possibly happen next, right? So for me, this is bearish. This is bearish for me into the next point of support. What the hell do I mean by that? Whenever price drops, it doesn't just drop and just stop just stop wherever. It stops at a point where it's respected in the past. As you notice here, once we came under, where did we stop? At a point where we respected in the past. Where did we have a retracement to? A point where it was respected in the past. Where did we have a retracement to? A point where it respected, and so on and so forth. Where did we reject? Where respected, and I could go on with many examples, right? So for me, I personally believe this is going to continue dropping all the way up into this structure point right here. As you can see, this structure point right here is used as resistance and resistance. As you can see, once we came into the zone, we kind of slowed down a little bit, and then obviously some little hesitation before we continue breaking out. I personally think there is nothing going to stop this. Everybody's panic selling. Everybody's kind of tripping out. So I think this is going to continue melting just a little bit more until we get into this area. Once it gets into this area, I'm not immediately buying. I am not doing that. I need to wait for a formation like this. I need to get a rejection confirmation from the resistance. I need to get a rejection confirmation from the resistance to be used as support. So then I could obviously look for buys to the upside. But even then, the overall trend is still bearish. I could possibly be buying a little retracement into this area here. Once it comes back up to 30,000, then I could continue heading to the downside. So I could be technically buying the push, but I could be having my take profit. Let's say I get my entry signal of buys here. I could have my take profit at this resistance. So if price comes into this area and then it rejects, or it's not looking that good to continue heading to the upside, then I simply sell, or I simply just get out of the position. And for whatever reason, if price does decide to then break above the 30,000, all right, bet. Now I'm just going to simply wait for then the retracement to then buy. As you can see right here, when we broke above, what did we do? We came back, retested, and buy. So I'm literally going to get this same move, just copy and paste it right here. Nothing changes. I'm just simply repeating what the past has done. Right? So if price comes into this area right here where it is right now, and it just continues melting, like it just continues to drop, that's cool, fine. I'm going to wait for it at my next area of interest, which would be around this level here. And I'm going to be honest, if this shit drops to 12,000, this is going to be crazy. There's going to be a show. So I'm going to personally wait for it to come into this resistance, and then have it used as support around this area, where I'm going to definitely be looking for buys into the next structure point where it could reject. So if price were to come into this level of support, resistance, then is when I will be looking, because it's just the most logical sense. Once price comes into this area, what are the probabilities that it goes up rather than down? Probably higher, right? Because we're above the level, like we're above the floor, so it's destined to head to the upside. So this is kind of where I'm going to basically be looking to potentially be looking for buys, obviously if I get my rejection signals. And then what I would do is I would wait for my take profit to be hit at this next level of resistance, because again, price could simply come into this level and then reject, how we've done in the past. And same exact example as I placed right here at 30,000. If price does happen to close above, I will then wait for the retest to then continue to the upside. This is very simple. This is me not knowing if they're printing Bitcoin, if they're stealing Bitcoin, if whatever is going on with Bitcoin. I'm just purely basing it off of technical analysis. You can see all of my other videos where I literally go over technical analysis on Forex pairs, and it works the same exact way perfect. It doesn't matter if the Great British Pound is being printed, if there's COVID, it's all market structure. So if you guys found this video useful, I know I'm not a crypto guy. Tell my Forex guys, if this helps you guys, makes more sense, drop a comment. If you guys want to see more crypto coins or more crypto videos, kind of like on the things that I'm involved in, drop a comment. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in this Friday's podcast. So take it easy, guys, and I will see you then.